Super. So I'm with Piotr in Krakow, in Poland. Piotr, what's the situation in Poland in terms of the impact of COVID-19 on Polish society?
Well, the situation is rather complex, but just to illustrate maybe the situation, it would be good to mention that just yesterday, on the 18th of May, we were preparing for the huge festivity connected with the 100th anniversary of the birth of John Paul II, which is of course the greatest of popes, the greatest of Poles. Well, I hope that he's one of the greatest of the popes, but for sure he has the highest esteem in Poland. So we were looking to the festivities. There were a lot of things prepared by the government, by the local governments, by the local communities, but all of them, most of them, they had to be cancelled or to postpone or to move into the virtual world. So we were able only to follow them through the streamings or through the televisions or through the internet. So the situation is that a lot of people from around the world try to also had the feelings of Poland, a festivity of Poland regarding the 100th birthday of John Paul II, and they contacted me and they asked me if I could send them the links to so they would be able to follow some of the events, or even someone asked a person, teacher from American University, asked me for a link to the Polish liturgy, but from the places related to John Paul II, and I did send him the link, so he was able to follow. During the normal days, probably they would be able to come over, they would be able to participate in them, but in these days, even broader, even more people were able to follow the events that we had here in Poland. So on one hand, this was a challenge, but on the other hand, this became really advantage of the fact that we were able to go to the wide community through the virtual world.
And I suppose that word community epitomizes that challenge, that on the one hand, you cannot meet as a community, but on the other hand, you're suddenly reaching vast numbers that perhaps you wouldn't normally have done. So has it changed your understanding of what community means?
Yes, well, when I think about all the situation with the virus, obviously one virus changed our life. Well, virus always check our immunological system. And if we have a strong immunological system, we would be able to resist most of the viruses. And well, we are not able to resist COVID-19 coronavirus because the organism needs to create antibodies, antivirus. So it seems like we were attacked, our community was attacked also by virus. And this is also the same name, COVID-19 coronavirus. And so our community, our immunological system of the community had to create, or now is in the process of creation antibodies to combat the virus. And I think now creating this community, the wider community through the internet, is one of these methods to overcome this virus.
And in that case, that community, that global community or virtual community, something that will continue, I assume, in your view, after we return to some sense of normality.
Well, virus evaluates the strength of our health, and also will evaluate the strength of this community. whether it will sustain or not. Okay, of course, using the analogy from medical world and putting into the analogy of social life. So whether this community will sustain, it's a very good question, but definitely if this situation ever would happen again in the future, we will be ready to go and this would not be of the shock effect or surprise effect. We would know how to deal with this situation for the future. So I think I see this already as a plus. Whether this will stay only in this community, in this global virtual community, it still needs to be an answer. And I don't know whether it will be good that it will stay only in this community, because people, they have in Poland a tremendous sadness of yesterday that I mentioned, that were not able to celebrate together, so that we're not able to physically be together. There is a huge appetite to return back to normality, to start to live in normal physical community, because, okay, this is just a replacement of what we used to be. So I think that for the future, people will know that there is always this escape route, that we can use it, exit door, but also we will now appreciate even more the normal community, normal sense of being with each other. So we will start to cherish being with each other. Like, for example, the COVID-19 brought a lot of people together, families together during the Easter time. They never been together as much as they were forced during this time. Quarantine, the word quarantine means, it's an Italian word, it means 40 days, 40 giorni. And well, it's for us, most of the Poles are Catholic, so this COVID coronavirus came to Poland in the time of Lent. So it became like we went on national quarantine on these 14 days of Lent in these circumstances. But then there was an Easter celebrated in domestic church. So the new thing started to appear, domestic church, that started to be a new element that was very often forgotten in rather building-oriented Roman Catholicism.
It's interesting that you bring it back to the biblical context of 40 days in the wilderness, 40 days of Lent, and so on, a very important number, 40, and we're living with that now, probably be longer than 40. I just wonder, as we bring this to a close, as a teacher of interreligious dialogue at John Paul II in Krakow, whether next year when you're teaching the same course, whether you might change something as a result of your experience living through the coronavirus now. Let's assume that the courses return, and whether the students are physically in front of you or they're on your computer screen, nevertheless they're present. What does it tell you as a lecturer, an academic, interreligious dialogue? How did it change your course, for example?
Well, I need to get a little bit personal. During this time, my family experienced the loss of my dad, and he just passed away 2 months ago, and we were not able to be together with him in this difficult time in the hour of his death. And what I would change, I mean, I never talk about something that we all of us, we need to go through the experience of death and approach to the death. Religion always tries to give a hope beyond the death, and I would like to tell to my students more about that we all humans, we have to die, but the religions, how the religions is trying to give hope for those who are passing away, those how to be with them, how to address this difficult fact of our life that we all of us, and we need to pass away.
Well, Piotr, on behalf of everybody listening, we send you our condolences, and we thank you for your remarks, and we're grateful for your contribution to the COVID-19 Chronicles.